Welcome back to Stuck to Strong. When I look back at the start of this journey, the biggest change didn't happen in my body, it didn't happen on a walk, and it didn't happen in a gym. It happened long before any of that. It happened in my mindset. Before anything changed on the outside, something shifted inside me. I started thinking differently. I started questioning the story I'd been telling myself for years. I started believing that maybe, just maybe, I didn't have to stay stuck. And that mindset shift was the foundation for everything that followed. But here's the part I didn't expect. As I kept showing up, as I kept walking, going to the gym, as I kept choosing discipline over comfort, I realised something deeper. I wasn't becoming a new person. I was uncovering the person I always was underneath the excuses, the habits and the fear. For so long, I lived as a version of myself that didn't feel right. A version that was so tired, disconnected and drifting. A version that felt like life was happening to me instead of being lived by me. And I convinced myself that this was just who I was. This was my identity. But it wasn't. It was just the result of years of survival mode. Years of putting myself last. Years of believing I wasn't capable of more. When my mindset changed, I started to see the truth. The man I wanted to become wasn't some future version of me, it was already there. Buried under the doubt, under the comfort, under the belief that I wasn't enough. Becoming stronger wasn't about building a new identity, it was about removing everything that wasn't me. The excuses, the stories, the limits I'd accept for so long. And the more consistent I become, the clearer it got. Every walk, every early morning gym session, every promise I kept, every time I chose the harder option, I wasn't creating a new identity, I was revealing the real one. The man who shows up, the man who keeps going, the man who doesn't quit on himself. The man who leads his life instead of reacting to it. That was always me. I just hadn't met him properly yet. And that's something people don't talk about enough. You don't suddenly become someone new. You slowly uncover the person you were meant to be. The person you lost sight of, the person you stopped believing in, the person who was waiting for you to wake up. Finding my identity wasn't a dramatic moment. It wasn't a big achievement. It wasn't a milestone. It was quiet realization, a calm understanding that the way I was living finally matched the way I wanted to feel, aligned, grounded, purposeful. And once that clicked, everything else became easier. Not easy, but easier. Because when you know who you are, your decisions stop feeling like battles. They become expressions of your identity. I don't walk because I'm trying to change. I walk because of who I am now. I don't keep promises to myself because I'm forcing discipline. I keep them because I respect myself. I don't chase approval anymore. I live it in a way that I'm proud of. This episode marks a shift in the series. The first half was about breaking old patterns, breaking the lies, the cycles, and breaking a version of me that kept me stuck. This part is about becoming the man I always was underneath them. The man who was waiting for me to stop surviving and start living. And if you're watching this and you feel stuck, I want you to hear this clearly. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to reinvent yourself. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You just need to uncover the version of you that's been waiting, the version that wants more, the version that knows you're capable of more. The version that hasn't given up. That's who you really are. And once you start living in alignment with a version, everything changes. This has been episode 11.